Hey everybody, I'm AdamHarry from BoLS, and today we are looking at the new Space Marine releases for Warhammer 40k. We've got the new Primaris Chaplain on a bike, we've got the new Primaris Firestriker servo turret, and we've got the new Primaris Invader ATV. And yeah, let's dive in. We're going to kick it off with the Primaris Chaplain on a bike, simply because this literally is the Primaris replacement for the Chaplain on a bike. And I think this is probably of the three, the one kit folks are most excited about. If you're a White Scars player, Raven Guard player, Blood Angels player, whatever, if you have a close combat army and you're looking for a chaplain that can keep up, this is your guy. It does come with 2 head options, and yeah, let's pop the box here. Let's get in here. Sometimes these tabs are real easy to open, and sometimes they're not. And then I struggle when I do it on camera. There we go. All right. Boom. You got your, I'm gonna call it Outrider, because it's not really, it's a bike, sure, but it's like an Outrider bike. 2 sprues. We'll check those out in a second. Instrucciones. Little guy packet, but looks like a pretty easy build. Maybe not, but still, there's lots of steps here, but I don't think it's going to be super complicated. As you can see from the sprues, there's not a ton of bits here. I didn't actually have time to build this model before we had to film this, so this was kind of a low priority, if I'm honest with you, to build it. Not because I didn't want to, just because I had to build some other stuff. If you already saw the Necron video, then you know what I'm talking about. And those were a bit more time consuming than this one. But I'm excited about this one. I know some folks were like, whatever, it's Chaplain on a bike, but yeah, exactly, it's a Chaplain on a bike, man. Like, come on. That's what folks have been waiting on. It does have a lot of really cool details. Again, this would fit great with the Outrider unit. You need another character to ride up with them and give him an aura buff with his, litanies. This is what I'm talking about. It's cool. Again, you do have the 2 head options, so there's one head here. Let's zoom in on those real fast. So there's one head there with a helmet, and if you want to go, risky, then there's the head without the helmet. So, you do you, boo-boo. You do you. Moving from there. Yeah, cool kit. I want to put this one together. Check out Crozius. And, yeah. Good stuff. Alright, we have the Primaris Firestrike servo turret. There are 2 weapon options on here. You can go with the autocannons or the las talons here. I'm a little, I'm a little conflicted on how I want to build this thing. The las talons are only 24 inches, and this thing only moves like 3 inches, so it's not exactly like... It's not the fastest walker. It's not even a walker. It's not the fastest turret on the board, but the autocannons are 48 inches, so I don't know. I'm still going back and forth. Unfortunately, when I was looking at this kit earlier, I don't know if you can magnetize it super easily. I didn't get around to building it yet, so I'll get back to you on that, maybe. But that's everything in the box. So it only comes on 1 sprue. More on that in a second. There's the base. There's a water slide transfer. I forgot to mention we do have a water slide transfer also for the Chaplain, so in case you need that. But lots of stuff. This one's basically like Ultramarines up top, and then more generic Roman numerals there if you need them. Instructions. This isn't super complicated. It's a fold out. So essentially the turret part goes together pretty simply. I guess you could magnetize the weapon here, like the barrels, because if you don't glue that down, I guess you could get away with it. But I mean, it just goes onto the plate, so it doesn't look like the seat, the gunner seat here, has anything in particular based on the guns. It looks like the 2 barrel options are just your swaps there. So maybe you can magnetize this one if you want to. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Let's look at the sprue. Maybe you'll be able to have a better gauge. But yeah, it looks like, here's the turret plate that the guns sit on, and there's nothing. I mean, you do have the power cells there, but I'm looking here if those are generic or not as you guys look at that sprue. It looks like a good sprue. Lots of detail aside from that modeling question there. So yeah, I like the little turret bottom as well too. So, as far as I can tell, I don't think... Oh, there's the difference. Okay, here it goes. Those little power cells were specific to the las talent, so I guess you'd probably want to magnetize these as well. And then there's little autocannon ammo drums. So anyway, like I said, I didn't get to build this one yet. It was on my list. Maybe I'll get it done for next week and do a like photo showcase or something on our Instagram at Bill Lost Souls. Go check us out. But yeah, that's the Firestriker servo turret. Now let's get to the one that I actually did build. All right, here's the Primaris Invader ATV. There's only 2 different weapon options on here. The front bolters, they're universal for whatever. You can either have the Gatling cannon up top or the multi-melta option. I know it's not a Gatling, but whatever. I forget the name of it off the top of my head. Multi-barreled bullet hose. Let's open this up. It actually goes together real easy as well. A little building tip here. When you're assembling this, you've either got the 2 different variants here, but when you're assembling this part here, when you've got the 2 sides built, the 2 sides, and then you've got the main chassis here. This model is really great because it's got pegs. There's pegs everywhere in this model to make sure things fit flush. My recommendation is to take your snips, your hobby snips that you're hopefully using, and just slice off like a millimeter off of the front of those pegs. And the reason you want to do that is because the tolerances are so tight on this thing that it can actually trap air when you assemble the model, and that can create gaps when you're pushing everything together all taut, right? So you want everything to be nice and snug, because if you don't, there's a little bitty lip on these things. And if it's not completely snug, when you put the top part of it on, which is this part, when you put that over that, those little lips will actually stick out and prevent you. If it's not 100% tight, it will fight you. I made sure everything was very snug and used rubber bands to keep it all tight and let it actually set for a bit before I put it down here. So I actually reinforced the seam with some glue. Once it gets primed, you won't be able to see that, but I just used some plastic glue in the seam there on both sides to make sure that it was down tight, because it was fighting me. I wasn't going to let it win. More on the miniature in a minute, though. Just a little tip there when you do assemble it. Furthermore, one other assembly thing here: the guns, which is a nice thing, they don't share bits, which is actually really cool. So when you're building the multi-melta or the machine gun or whatever, there's no cross-pollination there. Like the bullet, like the guard there in the front, it's not the same for each one, which is nice, because that means if you don't glue it down, you can swap these weapons out. You just have to be careful with the arms, which if you look at this bit here, again, the arms go there. So I'll show that off in a second, but let's talk about the sprues real fast before I get too excited, too far ahead of myself. There's the sprues. Pretty straightforward build. It's literally a mirror. Well, not literally, because you have the multi-melta on the other gun. So maybe not a mirror, but it essentially is you've got the main chassis, 2 sides. Excuse me. You're gonna slam together. There's all the tires. It's really easy to build. Honestly, this took about 30-45 minutes to build. Even with the little mishap, it wasn't a mishap. Even with the little tolerance issue I was experiencing. So with the top part. So really fun kit to put together. A little smaller than I was expecting. But I mean, it's an ATV. I still feel bad for the driver. I do wish that GW had offset these guys a little bit, because he is literally right over the top of the poor driver there, and he's going to go blind or deaf. I really hope his helmet, has some good dampening, but it's not as big as I thought it was going to be for a Space Marine. And just to give you an example, here is here's an Outrider next to it, just to give you a little size comparison. This is an Outrider from the Adamus box set that we had built and painted. So again, about the same length. About, if you don't count the base, it's like 2-3 times the width. You don't count his arm being all splayed out there, but yeah. Okay, so if you do decide to build this, you can again build that weapon separately. And then I did not glue the arms down so that I could attempt to do this. So like I was saying, there's pegs all over this model. So I glued the rider down to the base. So he's not moving anywhere, and I didn't glue this part down. It should pop off. And you should be able to, I can't see because the camera's in my way, put that there. And then again, the pegs, doing all this, yeah, go in here, and they do kind of line up there. I'm not going to push it snug right now, sorry, but you get the idea. If you want to swap guns, you can do that. So, but I did that on camera. It was my first time swapping the gun out. Did it on camera. Boom, one take. Anyway, yeah, that's the ATV. It goes together real easy, and it's definitely a Space Marine take on an all-terrain vehicle. Don't know about that ground clearance though, folks. Well, folks, there you have it. Those are the new Space Marine releases for Warhammer 40k. You've got the Primaris Firestriker servo turret, the Primaris Invader ATV, and of course the Primaris Chaplain on a bike. Hope you enjoyed that one. I am AdamHarry from BoLS. Thanks for watching. Click to subscribe. Check out more videos. And thanks for watching.